Eco, an essential part of the Jak and Daxter universe. Entire plots, missions, and gameplay mechanics are based on it. Even so, not every time it's clear what kind of eco is used or referred to. Some of its uses are unclear too. This is especially present in the second game, like when you have to deliver a package of eco to the port, or when you win a month's supply of dark eco. But what kind of eco we deliver at the port, and why we win a bunch of dark eco? Isn't it supposed to be dangerous and prohibited? Let's try to uncover this mystery and other things alike throughout this series. To better know how eco works, we have to start from the basis and try to understand the properties. To do so, the first game will be our training ground on how to approach all the questions. For example, green eco. Its properties are of healing-like substances. Throughout the series, that is the main job of this eco. In certain games, it gets explored more, but for this video I'll keep it just at the 3 main games and Jak X. Now to the new interesting part. Blue eco. We know it also as the electric type of the ecos. It's used to activate the precursor technology, but it also shows magnetism-like properties. When we are infused with it, orbs are attracted to us, and a certain machine that we find in the game also uses blue eco for such purpose, but we will get to that later. Red eco. Power. But a subtle characteristic of this eco is that it can set things on fire, and can be found in hot places, as seen in a crystallized form in the mountain pass to the red eco stage hut. This means it has eating capabilities, and steam contraption could be done with the help of this eco. Another thing is it seems capable of being used as explosives, by how Gol and Maya have a grenade-like launcher on their precursor robot. Yellow eco. Other than being used as projectile, we don't have many uses of it, but for the way it works, it could easily possess gunpowder-like properties. In the end, this game doesn't tell us much about it. Dark eco. We know how dangerous it is, from being highly unstable and explosive to being toxic and venomous. It shows also hints of electric spikes. It possesses great power while being really dangerous. Now, we have a base. Let's apply the knowledge that we possess to some technology which we find throughout this game to build bases and practice. The levitation machine, the airboat to go to Misty Island, and the zoomer. The levitation machine is a contraption created by the Blue Eco Sage after Claw threw a massive boulder on the path to his resting spot. This machine uses Blue Eco to lift up the boulder, showing off the magnetic property of Blue Eco. We do still need power cells to make it work. Perhaps Blue Eco wasn't enough on itself, and the cells are needed to increase its power, or help mold the Blue Eco into that ray to lift up the boulder? Who knows? The airboat has a big fan attached to the back of it, but what fuel you give to the engine powering it, it can't be petrol for sure, and from its size it doesn't even look a steam-powered engine. It is actually an electric engine, and that electricity is given by our beloved Blue Eco. Our little village may be pretty rudimentary, but thanks to the abundant precursor technology present around the world, and a type of energy easily usable, even by the people themselves, it won't take long to be able to develop a machinery that seems futuristic. And about futuristic, finally the zoomer. One of the most marvelous pieces of technology. But how does it work? It must be light, but that fan under it can't be the only thing lifting it up. But Blue Eco can. From what knowledge we got, Blue Eco possesses magnetic powers. So if it can attract things to you, it can also reject it. Kira could have easily took down one of those Blue Eco platforms, recovered the engine or mechanism making it able to float, and incorporated it into the zoomer. Now you just have to attach a fan under it to increase stability and making it easier to turn while standing still, and a fan in the front for propulsion. And there you have it. These could all be fueled by Blue Eco and not power cells. But why? From what we know, power cells are pretty rare. Yeah, they are scattered around, but considering the output they have available, maybe you could try to keep it as a last resort when creating new things. For example, it would be useless to have it power the airboat, and if the zoomer doesn't need much power, just put some Blue Eco in it and call it a day. And use those power cells for a heavier task, like a thermal shield to protect it from overheating. Alright, Now we have some bases to tackle the main part of this video, Jak 2. We're going to set a few questions for the main interesting part of this game. Why we win a month's supply of eco? Why does the Baron bribe the metalheads with eco? What eco we deliver at the port? And why do we mine dark eco? Now, as a grand prize for the Zoomer racing events, we get the key access to the Baron Palace, but also eco, a ton of it. Unfortunately, we don't even get it, as Errol gets himself killed by driving into it. But a strange thing arises. When it crashes, a purple explosion happens. That wasn't just any type of eco, but dark eco. Why? Isn't it supposed to be dangerous to even stay near it? Then why are you giving it out so much as a prize even? It's simple actually. Once you connect all the dots with the other questions ahead, it makes sense. But to explain, we can make an example. Uranium, a super dangerous substance, highly radioactive and lethal, but we conquered it. We now have nuclear energy, and just a little bit of uranium can help produce millions of watts of energy. Now, what if we compare uranium to dark eco? Both are dangerous, yes, but they both hold immense energy too. If you really think about it, the precursors while creating the planet wouldn't have kept this eco around, let alone hold it in pretty convenient storages. If you could take the dark eco, process it and get energy out of it, it could be the discovery. Taking in consideration the times the world was facing while fighting against the metalheads, every way to create more energy or weapons will be discovered. Experiments with dark eco will for sure come out, and before you realize it, you can build an entire city around this power, especially if the resource you use to create energy is abundant in the first place. Following this theory, it will explain why we win a month's supply of dark eco to fuel something, though the amount won is still huge, and consider it is supposed to last a month, just what it is used for. Well, considering we are in a racing contest, it could be used as fuel in the racing zoomers. Then the large amount for the short period of time could be justified by the winning team being able to train more and having an advantage in the next Grand Prix. Now, perhaps the eco story inside is already refined and could take up more space than the normal one. Its appearance could be less than a water-like substance and more of an electric type one, as the boost pickups during the race, which themselves could be dark eco that the zoomers can grab, store and use at will. Overall, it can be justified. This leads to other conclusions then, where normal zoomers around Heaven City are actually fueled with dark eco, perhaps using blue just for the anti-gravity and dark for the propulsors and the stabilizers. Seen by this angle, dark eco looks really crucial to the city itself, when white praxis is giving it away to the metalheads. We do know that it is for keeping them attacking the city without actually destroying it, so it stays in charge. But why would the metalheads want a dark eco? Well, we just need to see their nest. It's filled to the brim with dark eco, almost as the metalheads were born to use and consume it. Perhaps the refined version Heaven City uses could be of higher quality and better suited for what the metalheads' needs are, making bribing an option to obtain such product. Before continuing, we have to understand one thing. Dark eco isn't the only eco available in the world. There are also the others. Green is easily used for medical application, blue for electricity alongside dark eco, so having true source of energy for the whole city. But where do red and yellow end up? Military. The uses in a no-war city will be harder to figure out, but an eco with heating and explosive characteristics, and a homing projectile like one, the uses in a war is self-explanatory. We know gunpowder exists from the first game actually, and it's almost surely used by Jinx and his gang. This can lead to a conclusion. Normal guns as we know could exist, but they will be weak and delegated to being mostly side guns, or for contraptions they use a lot of ammo. Main guns or more powerful ones could work with mixtures of red and yellow eco, where red is used as the explosive in the chamber, increasing the speed of yellow eco immensely, since on its own it isn't that fast, leading to a devastating bullet. Perhaps normal bullets could be used in conjunction with eco for a more piercing effect. The morph gun is an even more eco-concentrated type, creating different effects suited for each eco. It's even possible that the eco we will get normally wouldn't work with the gun itself, as it may need a refined version to be used in such a way. Honestly, looking at how much eco could be used in all these applications, I can't really blame The Lost Frontiers for the plot choice of "we are running out of eco", especially if it doesn't recreate naturally over time, but that is a topic for another day. We have all this knowledge now about how eco is used in Heaven City, way more than what we could have thought. So one of the main questions, which type of eco we deliver at the port, what could it ever be? Of course, we can't say it with 100% certainty, but we can say what it isn't and get to a conclusion like that. First of all, it can be any type of refined eco. Why? Because it's super easy to retrieve. Ammo crates are all over the place, keeping inside all 5 eco types. It will be a matter of taking it out of the containers and you should be good. And still, if a refined dark or blue eco is used for the zoomers, it will be even less than a problem. This leaves us to unrefined eco. Green eco is still something that wouldn't be much to fight over. Yes, it's a strong healing resource, but precious enough that a crime lord like crew would kill even if you lost a little of it? No, neither would blue, red or yellow. These normal eco types are easy to come by, given their use, and in the end, what they use them for? Because if it is for ammo, then what is the point on getting the raw version delivered, when you can go almost everywhere and find the refined versions, ready to be used in weapons? Some of you may at this point say Dark Eco, but yeah, the Baron is starting to run out of it, but you just need to head out in the forest and you will find tons of it. Sig can almost surely handle it, being an expert at going outside the walls. But wait a minute, it can't be a refined eco. The unrefined versions all have reasons not to be worth it. Then what it is? For me, it's light eco, something so rare that the crew wouldn't hesitate to kill if lost. In Jak 2 it's never mentioned that light eco exists. It doesn't mean though that it truly doesn't exist, as we know. Then to do what? Who knows? Maybe to keep a crew himself alive, or some special weapon that he is working on. In the end, we can't really answer this question with a this or that. Already the conclusion we arrived at is through a lot of connection and theories. Many things could actually be different, but considering the theory of refined Dark Eco, there aren't many options left. Perhaps it is Dark Eco after all, as the city is running out of it and crew may want to create stocks so when the times eventually come, he will be ready to defend himself, or have enough power to actually take over. The question of why mine Dark Eco is already kinda explained in the game. The Baron uses it to bribe the metalheads, but now it is not only that the sole purpose, as we have seen. I mean, I can understand his plan to keep the metalheads attacking the city so he can stay in power, by going all the way out to build such gigantic sites just for that. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Plus, they used it to mine Eco before, way earlier in the fight, and it wasn't for bribing. If we only look at Jak 2, then this whole refined eco theory will have some trouble, as the foundation on it are that the eco mine isn't just to give Dark Eco to the metalheads, but to also fuel the city itself, and that people did experiments and treated Dark Eco as we treated the uranium. What made me realize it could be actually possible is the eco mine we find in Jak 3. From our knowledge of the game itself, it seems this mine was used by Mar to harvest eco for Heaven City. The fact that it is abandoned could be one of these 3 options. They had nothing left to harvest, so they just closed it. The metalheads themselves could have taken control of the mine, as a way to reduce the resources of their enemy, or a mixture of the two. Perhaps the mine was closed to finish the easily reachable eco and would have needed excavation to find new stuff, but the metalheads attacked, making them leave the mine, as the moment it didn't seem worth retaking. Anyway, the fact alone that a mine previous to practice bribing exists indicates that eco was heavily used before, and in a war against an almost undefeatable enemy, all the resources would be needed to achieve victory, no matter the cost. Since we tap in Jak 3 territory, let's see how another city handles eco, Spargus. Being in a wasteland, resources are limited, and one thing comes immediately to mind. How do you make buggies if you don't have petrol to fuel them, since you are literally on a desert island? Wait, who said that the June buggies are fueled with petrol? That's right, they aren't. The buggies seems to have combustion-based engines, but what could be used to fuel them? Red eco. As we said at the start, this eco has heating-like properties and can also explode. Maybe if used with the right amounts, it can work inside an engine, or helping with general contraptions. Why not using blue eco, you might ask? I think that the environment plays a part in which eco-type can appear. Since we find ourselves in a wasteland, a hot environment with also a volcano right in the middle, the abundance of red and possibly yellow eco is on the table. Then those left there to die will use what is available to survive, and the use of red eco for multiple applications just comes by itself. Yellow eco, instead, may be used alongside the gunpowder for the guns, since it may not have many uses by itself other than shooting. The possible abundance of it comes for sure approved, but unlike the red-yellow combo weapons that could exist in Heaven City, here they could be more yellow-based, if not entirely, and using gunpowder for the explosion in the chamber. An example would be the weapons on some dune buggies. They do need a physical bullet to perforate the enemy car armor, and a coat in yellow eco could just help out for more damage. This of course if there is an abundance of yellow eco. If not, it could be used just for certain applications, leaving normal guns to the dune buggies, as they use a ton of ammo. The Spargus turret may be one of these special uses. We know how powerful it is, and the projectiles shooted from it are gigantic and devastating. The composition of this weapons ammo could be a mix of yellow and red eco, plus gunpowder and normal bullets too. Red eco and gunpowder will be used for a super strong explosion. Then a bullet is shooted, colored yellow, for increasing the range and keeping the power. Some more red could be applied for more power on the impact. Those Darkmaker Titans should have feared more the power of Spargus. Returning on the subject of buggies, Jak X could be interesting. You see, now the world is at peace and car racing is the new extreme sport. We came to the conclusion that in Spargus the dune buggies could have used petrol, but now it is a possibility as new frontiers are open. Now it will just be a question of choice actually. The new engines could be petrol based, only red or blue eco, a mix of all three. It all depends on which fuel gets the right balance of efficiency, power and cost. For sure blue eco will have something to do, as it acts as the boost gauge in the game, which is interesting because in Jak 2 we have dark boost, Jak 3 a red eco boost, and Jak X a blue eco boost. The dark boost increases the speed in a decent way, lasting not that long. Red seems to hold some more weight to it, but the duration doesn't seem that high. Blue on the other hand isn't that impactful, but it can be held for much longer. Perhaps the power of the boost has a correlation to its duration. Another point to hold to the mixed fuel is dark eco, which not only increases the power of all weapons, but also your boost, indicating that the engine is capable of consuming dark eco. For the weapons and other eco is self-explanatory. The guns probably work like the dune buggies. Each eco has its use, and you can be sure that in a way or the other you will end up upside down right before the finish line. One last interesting thing, or things, are the power cells. We didn't saw them since TPL, and now they make a comeback in a game mode. The objective is to charge the power cell up, making them overcharge and send them flying as a little gift to your enemy. But wait, charge up? Aren't they supposed to let out power? Well, my theory with them will also explain why we don't see them anymore. It's possible they just hold power and not really create it. At the start of the war they could have been used as an easy power source, but sooner or later they stopped working as they ran out of power. This led to invest more in eco production and processing, as you will need to charge up those batteries, eventually leading to abandon them entirely, in favor of directly fueling the contraptions with eco. That's why we see orbs around and not power cells, as an even rarer item. What are your thoughts on this? You think this theory holds up or there are too many flaws in it? Let me know down in the comments, and if enough new questions that could be answered or new theories come to light, I could do a part 2 of this. Thank you all for watching and sticking until the very end. I hope you enjoyed this video. I plan on doing some more videos like this, some more technical, and who knows, maybe also some gameplay if you will enjoy. If you're interested, then you can subscribe and leave a like. We'll see each other in the next video. See ya!